Hi, Shaunak, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for joining us today for this quick testimonial call. I know it might be early morning for you. So, starting with, if you could give us a quick introduction about yourselves for our audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, I'm Shaunak. I did my bachelor's of chemical engineering from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Prior to that, I went to high school in Egypt, but I was born in India, so I've had quite a diverse international experience. And then post-graduation, I joined a technology licensing firm in New Jersey, where I worked for about a year and 4 months or so before I decided that I wanted to apply for master's in management programs across the world. And I'm very happy to inform you that I have been accepted into INSEAD's Master in Management, and I'm looking forward to start in August of this year.
Perfect. That was great. So, Shaunak, before you thought about MIM programs, there might have been certain concerns when you got into this journey. Okay, what schools to apply, all those things. So, what sort of concerns were those? Which schools did you actually apply to? You did mention you'd go joining INSEAD. So, what other schools did you apply to?
So yeah, I did four universities, and actually LilacBuds helped me shortlist and get to those four based on an analysis and an evaluatory call about my options. The four that I did choose to apply to were Kellogg Business School in Chicago, LBS London Business School in London, and HEC Paris, as well as NCAD, of course. So those are the four that I chose to apply, and yes, it was a concern in the sense of what to pick. I think a lot of students, including myself, were always you're riddled with this question because there are so many options, there are so many choices, especially for a master's in management program globally. That it's always so nice to have somebody that's experienced in the process, like the team at Lilac Buds, to help you guide through and really shortlist the ones that fit your profile and your own personal goals as well.
Perfect. So you were very clear from the beginning, I wanted to get into top schools, and the four you choose were obviously,
Yep.
really heavy duty programs. So what were your test scores, if you don't mind sharing that with our audience, to just get an idea, why such, and not really banking on safety, but being really dream and
Yep.
optimistic about schools.
Yeah, of course. The method that I chose to do was that I only applied to really dream schools. There was no safeties, there was no realistic schools as such. But that stemmed mostly from a personal belief that I had that if I was going to do a master's program, I wanted to do one from a top program. Otherwise, I was happy not to do one at all. So that was the reasoning. And in terms of test scores, which I think were enough at the time, where I did the GRE and I got a 328. So I was very proud of that score, and I thought it was enough with the rest of my profile to really um, boost up my chances.
Yeah, it was definitely enough. You're joining INSEAD for the class of 2028, so no doubt about it. So great. So starting with this process, when you thought about, okay, I need a consultant. You are based in the US, we
Yep.
guys were based in India. So, any concerns about that? Okay, would these people be the right fit? What sort of questions did you have before getting into the journey? Do I even need a consultant? You know, if you could shine light on that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that was actually a major discussion point that I had with my family and a couple of close friends about, whether I need one. In the world of AI, you sometimes like to think that you have all of these resources at the tips of your fingers, that you can just do everything by yourself. But honestly speaking, I think structure is what a consultant gives you, right? This idea of breaking every application down to its fundamentals and then building up a picture that truly represents who you are. And yes, okay, AI can do that for you, but you don't have the legacy and the history that a company like Lilac Buds has that you can really bank on, right? These kind of things are bankable. And what you are paying for it in the sense of value is that experience. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to work with people, and the consultant that I was assigned, his name's Mohit, he was excellent. He really knew what to do when it came to masters and management programs. He had his own history there as well. So there was this almost this idea that you're working with an alumni as such of a top institution as well. So the insights that come with that really add value to the entire process. Be that writing essays, even small things like filling in the applicant portal might seem like rudimentary tasks, but having someone there that's willing to put in that extra effort and helping you through that process is takes a big weight off your shoulders. That's number one. And number two, it gives you a sense of confidence, which I think is the most paramount thing when you're talking about getting into some top programs.
True.
Oh, sorry. One point that you did mention, the time zone difference. I was worried a little bit about that. And the reason why I did pick LilacBuds was because I was in India for a vacation at the time when I was in the middle of choosing and figuring out what I wanted to do. So I just did a quick Google search. LilacBud comes to the top of that list. So I just gave Vashi a call, and she was nice enough to entertain me for an hour where we had a wholesome discussion about how the process works and what are the payment parameters and what kind of services that I'll have access to, things like so. Everything was made very clear to me, and it was all very upfront, which is the one thing that I really did like because I have had experiences where certain consultants take these long-winded paths where they make you do 3 or 4 calls. They don't divulge all of the important information straight away, and it just becomes a confusing, muddled up mess. That is not what I experienced at LilacBuds, which was the selling point for me, and that made it very easy for me to make a decision as well, because it's simple, right? If I have the information, I can think about it and then simply make a decision within a couple of weeks or a couple of days, whatever it is, and then just go on with it. So yeah, overall, I had no concerns about time zones because I was sure that you guys are professional enough to be able to manage that well. So yeah, no concerns at all once I started working with you. But in the early stages, yes, I'm very glad that you guys were great about the information transfer.
Perfect. So you mentioned Mohit being your mentor. So he himself is an alum
Yep.
of a top school and based out of Germany. You working in the
Yep.
US. So we were actually coordinating between three time zones, which was, and I think the
Right.
process went very seamless. Everything was to the point, document exchange over the portal. So how did that experience go? Any problems or anywhere you felt, okay, this is not working out, anything of that sort?
No, absolutely not. Considering he is also a working person and he has his own priorities, I think he made so much time for me, which I just think a normal service wouldn't do that for you. It almost felt like there was a personal connection beyond just the professional interaction, which I think adds a lot of value because it seemed to me, at least the impression that I got was that he was very invested, which, makes me feel really good about myself that, oh, this guy that I'm working with actually cares and I'm not just a client, right? Like I didn't get treated like I was just a client. I was treated more so as like the mentor mentee relationship really did shine through there, which was amazing. The portal simplifies things so much. When we're working on drafts, I'm sure the students that are watching this, you're going to go through 15, 20 iterations of essays. Most likely, at least the first one that you do, there's going to be a lot of back and forth that happens. Um, and it's always so good to have everything documented. The portal of LilacBuds does that for you automatically. Everything gets time stamped. It's very clear who is uh, uploading the document and who is supposed to be receiving it. So that entire ecosystem is almost built for convenience, one, and two, to make sure there's no misunderstandings about, oh, which one was Rev 1, which one was Rev 2 or 3, 4, 5, right? And yeah, so I think that was amazing for me. I didn't necessarily actually have any trouble whatsoever, including the time zone. Germany is 6 hours ahead of well, in New Jersey, right? So accounting for that was a bit challenging, but since that's a set time difference, all you need to do is find a system once, and it's repeatable throughout.
True,
Yeah.
true. Great. So, Shaunak, how was it when you got your first acceptance? I know INSEAD was the school you got into. It definitely came at the fag end, so must have been, jittery days, nervous days. So, how was that?
Absolutely. I'll walk you through chronologically. So through until I got that admit, I think every single day I would wake up extremely nervous about what's going to happen next? Do I need to start thinking about plan B, plan C? What are my other avenues? What are some other options? And that genuinely, I have no other word to describe that time than as anxious and nerve-wracking. It was a difficult time, but I think it's a rite of passage. It, I think, comes in the life of every student that's ever applied anywhere. So I don't think I'm special in that sense. But what I will tell you, all of that goes away the minute you get that call. When your phone rings and you see a French number that's calling you, your heart drops a little bit, and it's just a sense of ecstasy almost. It's amazing. Like, it's an ecstatic feeling. So yeah, I mean, the minute I got that call, I spoke with my assigned admissions officer, and she was nice enough to inform me that I have been admitted to NCAD and that the paperwork would follow soon. That all of that process was very, very smooth, and I'd be happy to talk about it if required. And yeah, so I was extremely happy, and I informed Mohit straight away, and he was very happy for me as well. So it was quite a wholesome moment at the end of a long road, but uh, it was fun process. I I recommend it if you have the heart to handle handle rejection and handle a little bits of ups and downs. But hopefully, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Yep.
Great. So, last question for you, Shaunak. Any advice you have
Yep.
for future applicants who are looking to go through this journey, based on your experience, any tips and tricks for them, or what
Yep.
they should consider when they think of a journey abroad, or the consultant to choose, any of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that question is of three parts. So I'll break that down as such. First things first, when you are a student, the first thing you need to do is have clarity about what you want to do. At least a semblance of it, whether that's a master's in management, whether that's an MS, whether that is whatever it is. I think you need to know what that is first, and you need to convince yourself that is what you want to do. Because if there is any tentativeness, that's going to reflect in your efforts, which down the line is going to impact you negatively. I think that would be my own personal advice. I had decided that this is the program that I wanted to do at these four schools, and I was very sure that that's what I wanted, and I was confident in that thought. Second things in terms of what to do first, I always say get a strong test score. Any management program is going to want it. Even if they say it's optional, it's always better to have it than not to have it. It adds a data point, especially if you have a strong score. It can definitely offset an average or a low GPA, especially if you outperform in a GMAT or a GRE, for instance. So it's always worth thinking about that. And bear in mind, these are tests that require prep. And what prep needs is time and structured practice. So you do need to give yourself time relative to the admission cycle to make sure you have your scores ready to go. So that's some thought is required there. And the third point, and this is easy to answer, I would recommend LilacBuds 10 out of 10 times, simply because of my experience. And frankly, I did some preliminary research about some of the other testimonials out there before I even called Vashi. I never even told her that I did that because I didn't want her to like change her responses based on everything. But what I'll tell you is these guys are the most candid people out there. And I would recommend doing their service where they match you with universities. The service that you would recommend, which I rejected, but I still think for the general population, for most people, that's always a good thought. Having a third person taking a look at your choices to make sure if some of them are a good fit and having a healthy discussion about where to go. The only reason I didn't do that was because I had this own personal prerogative, which I spoke about earlier. But if you don't have anything like that, then I think their service is very well structured. So they'll walk you through whatever schools that they think are best for you, and then you come to a conclusion. Pick 4 or 5 schools, and then the consultants can get to work with you as well. So yeah, I think that about summarizes what I know of the process and my experience of it. And I do want to take a moment to thank you. Thank you, Vashi. Thank you, Mohit, if he sees this, for running such a good service. And yeah, you have one very happy customer on this end.
Thank you so much, Shaunak. It was a pleasure being a part of your journey, and really happy that you did get to one of your top choice schools. You'll be joining INSEAD. Happy to see you grow and definitely stay in touch. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you. Have a nice rest of your day.
So,